A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, February 2. Pause, reflect and renew. That's the message Prime Minister Mottley issued to Barbadians as the country prepares to enter a 2-week lockdown. In a national address, she urged citizens to adhere to protocols and not to let down their guard as the island takes strong action to arrest the recent rise in COVID-19 cases.
Is that you can't cheat and beat COVID. If you want to be up underneath people, you're going to catch it. If you are not careful about wearing your mask and wearing it properly, you put yourself at a greater risk to catch it. If you don't sanitize and you move around with people and then you go touching your eye or your mouth or your nose or whatever, you're giving yourself it from your hands. And I can't find any simpler way of breaking it down, because this war, this battle, this war against COVID, this war against even dengue will be won by the effort that not just the government puts in or the Prime Minister puts in or the leaders of the union and the private sector put in. It will be won if all of us are prepared to put in the effort and to recognize that for the next few days, from the 3rd to the 17th of February, what are we asking you to do? To pause, then to rest, to reflect, and to renew.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister announced that 50,000 Barbadians will soon benefit from COVID-19 vaccinations. Mottley revealed today that India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has agreed to give Barbados 100,000 vaccines.
We have had commitments from the Government of India, and we expect to receive very shortly the first supply of 50,000 for 50,000 persons, which would be 100,000 vaccines, and we hope to be able to start the deployment of that in the very near future. You will get further information from the COVID Communications Unit on both public education and sensitization, because I am conscious that there are some people who continue to have concerns, and we will meet with them. But there are also a lot of persons who are ready. We have given a commitment, and Cabinet has agreed that the first beneficiaries must be the frontline workers. And for us, frontline workers go from the medical, and when I say medical, I don't mean doctors alone. I mean any and everybody working in critical medical establishments publicly. And if there is enough, ultimately we will reach to the private as well. We also mean the police and national security forces of the country and critical essential services that keep the country going. If we didn't have electricity, we couldn't even keep the same vaccinations going. So the frontline workers who deal with that. It does not mean that every single employee within a particular agency or department at this point in time, but certainly all of those who are on the front line as we know it.
Meanwhile, on the eve of the lockdown, business owners in the city reported only moderate sales today. Several told our news team shoppers have been making careful choices about how they spend their money. Location manager of Bridgetown Duty Free, formerly known as Cave Shepherd, Mark Clark, said the majority of persons who passed through the store were paying bills.
On opening this morning at 8:30, we mainly had our customers with their bill payments at SurePay and our Cave Shepherd card. But as in shopping in store, mainly in the Tasha's Wonderland, where customers are purchasing little Valentine's gifts, and also in our liquor department, where we have some additional sales there. But apart from that, it's been relatively quiet.
Over at Woolworth, Managing Director Martin Bryan said foodstuff, toiletries and educational games were the items of choice. He said the 2-week lockdown will significantly impact his operations, but they support the move.
Some of our staff, quite a number of our staff are taking vacation for 2 weeks. The remainder are going to be laid off for the 2 weeks. Obviously our doors will be completely closed, so there'll be not a single cent in revenue coming in. So that's going to impact significantly to us. But we do understand why it's being done, and we follow government protocols and we do what we need to do. But it certainly will be impacting our bottom line for sure.
At Abed's, Managing Director Eddie Abed said his store has been holding its own, but he's optimistic Barbados will bounce back stronger.
This is almost deja vu. We've been here before. We did 6 weeks last year in 2020, and we're hoping that it'll only be 2 weeks this time around. We just can't afford another shutdown. It hurts our revenue, but we understand the big picture. We're going to do our part as good corporate citizens. Our staff are going to do their part, and hopefully we rebound from this. We can only work towards that. We can't control what we can't control.
In other news, the body of English visitor Mark Smith was today recovered at sea. Police Public Relations Officer Inspector Rodney Innes said the body was found floating about half a kilometre in the area of the Cliff Restaurant near Paynes Bay Beach, St. James. The 61-year-old, who was staying at Sunset Crest, was identified by a close friend and business associate. Police had reported that Smith was missing at sea on Sunday. And now for today's COVID-19 update, there were 28 new positive cases from among the 866 tests conducted by the Best de Santos Public Health Laboratory on Monday. The 28 new cases comprise 11 women and 17 men. 7 of them are persons who would have been previously sent to the Harrison Point Isolation Facility for assessment. The other 21 cases include 18 Barbadians and 2 non-nationals. A total of 37 persons were reported to have recovered yesterday from the viral illness and were released from isolation. There are now 366 active cases. The total number of persons diagnosed as positive at Her Majesty's Prisons Dodds remain at 362. Of these, 355 have recovered, and the remaining 7 inmates are included in the active cases. To date, Barbados has recorded 1,586 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 14 persons have died from the viral illness.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, the Attorney General has rolled out new plans to improve the criminal justice system. We get the details from TTT News.
Prosecutions and convictions, increasing the turnaround of cases heard by magistrates and judges, are indeed improving the overall quality of the criminal justice system. Attorney General Faris Alwari outlined these changes to the system as he spoke at the launch of the latest chapter of the Heliconia Foundation for Young Professionals in central Trinidad on Monday.
There are 146,000 cases in the magistrates' court every year. Fact. There are 43 magistrates. Fact. They had limited immunity. Fact. We had 36 judges in the High Court. Fact. We had 12 judges in the Court of Appeal. Fact. We have over 1,000 people in remand waiting for a trial for murder. 1,200. Fact.
He added the trials took between 10 to 20 years to complete. 8,500 marijuana cases were tried annually. There were 104,000 motor vehicle and traffic cases per year, plus about 26,000 preliminary inquiries being handled by the 36 magistrates and 12 judges.
You know the numbers are? 43 magistrates with full immunity in a computerized system with zero backlog in transcripts are now dealing with 8,500 cases as opposed to 146,000 cases.
Further afield, Britain's Captain Moore, the World War II veteran who visited Barbados last year, died today at age 100 after he contracted COVID-19. More in this report from Reuters Television.
British national hero and record-breaking fundraiser Captain Tom Moore has died aged 100, his family said on Tuesday. The World War II veteran raised millions of pounds for health service workers battling COVID-19. Moore died on Tuesday morning at Bedford Hospital. He had tested positive for COVID-19 on January 22nd and was fighting pneumonia. His family said he had not been vaccinated due to other medication he was taking. Moore had been receiving treatment for prostate and skin cancer. Buckingham Palace said Queen Elizabeth will send a private message of condolence to the family, recognizing, quote, the inspiration he provided for the whole nation and others across the world. Raised in Yorkshire, Northern England, Moore served in India, Burma, and Sumatra during World War II. He struck a chord with locked-down Britain by walking around his garden with the help of a walking frame. He raised tens of millions of dollars in personal donations, even more when accounting for tax benefits.
Well, what can you do I mean, I think, as far as I'm concerned, always be optimistic. Whatever you're talking about, be optimistic, because it's a good day. I mean, things will get better.
Britain's health minister said on Twitter that he was, quote, a great British hero that showed the best of our country.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.